This is Vitality Unleashed, the functional medicine podcast, your go-to source for better health, boundless energy, and peak performance. With Dr. Kumar's expert insights, we combine science and personalized care to help you thrive. Subscribe now and unleash your vitality.
Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about something, pretty interesting. It's jackfruit.
Jackfruit.
Jackfruit, this tropical fruit that's, getting a lot of attention in the wellness world.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
And for good reason. We're diving into some research today, and we've got a couple of really interesting studies.
Okay.
One is going deep into the anti-diabetic and antioxidant properties of jackfruit extract.
Hmm.
And the other one is taking a look at the effects of green jackfruit flower on folks with type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so we're looking at the extract in the flower. Okay.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that both of these studies are pointing to jackfruit's ability to impact this process called glycation.
Glycation.
Yeah, glycation. And, it's a pretty key player when it comes to those complications that can happen with diabetes.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but, to be honest, I don't really know exactly what it is.
Well, think of it this way. Imagine that you've got these sugar molecules in your bloodstream, and they're just, bumping around. And then they run into these proteins.
Uh-huh.
Now, glycation is like those sugar molecules getting all sticky and attaching themselves to the proteins.
Like gum on a shoe?
Exactly, like
Right.
gum on a shoe. And the problem is in diabetes, when blood sugar levels are higher, this whole process can really mess things up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it disrupts how those proteins are supposed to function.
Hmm.
And this can lead to all sorts of damage in blood vessels, nerves, even contributing to fatty liver disease.
So jackfruit can actually, stop this from happening.
That's what the research is suggesting.
Wow. How does it do that?
Well, the study that we're looking at found that jackfruit extract actually showed what we call an IC50 of 56.43% in inhibiting this hemoglobin glycation process.
Okay, now you're going to have to break that down for me. What is IC50?
Good point, sorry. So IC50, that's basically telling us the concentration of jackfruit extract that's needed to stop 50% of this glycation process.
Oh, okay. So that percentage, 56.43%, is actually pretty good then.
It is. It's actually a really potent result.
That's so interesting.
You know what makes jackfruit even more interesting?
Yeah.
It's not just about this one mechanism. Jackfruit is a powerhouse of these beneficial phytochemicals.
Phyto what?
Phytochemicals, those are like plant compounds that do all sorts of good things for us.
Right. Okay.
Like jackfruit's got ascorbic acid, that's vitamin C,
Okay.
beta-carotene,
Uh-huh.
and lycopene.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those are powerful antioxidants.
Oh, right. So antioxidants are like those things that protect our cells from damage, right?
Exactly.
And oxidative stress, that's when there's like an imbalance between those free radicals and antioxidants. That's really bad in diabetes, right?
It is. Oxidative stress is heavily involved in the development of diabetes and all the complications that can come with it. So these antioxidants that are packed into jackfruit, they can help combat that oxidative stress.
So jackfruit is working on two fronts then. It's fighting that glycation, and it's also boosting our own antioxidant defenses.
Right. So how do we take this from the lab, out into the real world?
How do we use this?
That's where that second study on green jackfruit flower comes in.
Okay, the flower. Yeah.
So in the study, they were looking at the effects of using green jackfruit flour as a replacement for, say, rice flour or wheat flour in the diets of people who have type 2 diabetes.
Interesting. So instead of completely changing their whole diet, they just swap out flours.
Exactly.
Smart. And did that simple change actually do anything?
Oh, yeah. The results were really interesting. Participants who were using the green jackfruit flour, they saw some pretty significant decreases in their HbA1c levels.
Okay. Now, for anyone who's listening who's not really sure what HbA1c is, could you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So HbA1c, that's a measure of what our average blood sugar levels have been over a period of time.
Oh, okay.
So when it goes down, that's a really good sign. It means the body's doing a better job of managing that blood sugar.
So it's not just like a quick change, it's an actual shift in how the body's handling sugar long term.
You got it. And you know what? There were some other really interesting findings in this study, too.
Oh, like what?
They found reductions in both fasting plasma glucose, that's our blood sugar when we haven't eaten for a while, and postprandial plasma glucose, which is our blood sugar after we've eaten a meal.
So it's helping to regulate blood sugar throughout the whole day.
That's what it looks like.
That's really cool. But is this sustainable, long term?
That is a great question. And I think to really know for sure, we need those long-term studies. But what we're seeing so far is really promising. It seems like jackfruit flour could be a really valuable tool to help manage those blood sugar levels over time.
Especially if it's part of like a bigger plan for better health, right?
Exactly. And before we move on, I do want to say that as exciting as this information is, it's always super important to talk to your healthcare provider before you make any big changes to your diet.
Yeah, especially if you're dealing with a health condition already, always talk to your doctor first.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the anti-glycation power of jackfruit, the awesome antioxidants it has, and these pretty promising results from using the green jackfruit flour.
Right.
Now, this all leads to another really interesting area, the potential benefits for fatty liver.
Oh, yeah, fatty liver.
Remember when we talked about how oxidative stress is a big deal in diabetes?
Yeah?
Well, it also plays a big role in how fatty liver disease develops.
Ah, I see. So jackfruit's helping on multiple levels here.
Right, it's like jackfruit is a multitasker when it comes to health benefits.
Amazing. And, jackfruit is naturally low in calories and high in fiber.
True, yeah.
So that can really help with weight management, which is another big factor in dealing with fatty liver.
This is all painting a really interesting picture of how jackfruit can make a difference in our health.
It is.
But I have a question. Now, when I think about jackfruit, I think about that ripe jackfruit and how sweet it is.
Yeah.
And how does that work with keeping blood sugar under control?
That's a really good question, and it's important to remember that we're talking about two different things here.
Right.
The ripe jackfruit, that's the sweet one we eat, and then there's the unripe green jackfruit that's used to make the flour.
Right.
They're both good for you, but the ripe one definitely has more sugar.
So it's all about moderation.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are watching their blood sugar.
Exactly. You can definitely enjoy ripe jackfruit. Just be mindful of how much you're eating.
It sounds like the theme here is finding what works for you and your health goals.
Absolutely. Food should be enjoyable, right? It's about finding that balance between enjoying what you eat and making choices that support your well-being.
Well said. Let's take a moment to think about all of this, and when we come back, we'll dive into some practical tips for using jackfruit flour and some other strategies to keep our livers healthy. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. So, what are you thinking so far about jackfruit? All these potential benefits.
It's really amazing to me how jackfruit can actually help with both blood sugar and fatty liver. Like one fruit doing all that. It's pretty impressive.
It really shows you how powerful nature can be when it comes to our health.
For sure. Now, for people who are interested in trying this green jackfruit flour, what's the best way to start using it?
Well, you can start simple. Just swap out some of the regular flour in your recipes with the jackfruit flour.
Okay.
Like maybe replace about 25% to start.
So like if I'm using a cup of flour, I could use 3/4 cup regular and then 1/4 cup jackfruit flour.
Exactly.
Okay.
It lets you get used to the taste and how it feels. And then, once you're comfortable, you can start using more of it.
That makes sense. Are there any, types of food or cuisines where jackfruit flour is already used a lot?
Oh, yeah, definitely. In Asia and South America, green jackfruit flour has been used for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Like in dosas, idolas, and even some noodles, they use it.
It's really cool to see how different cultures have been using these natural ingredients for so long.
Absolutely. There's so much we can learn from those traditions.
Yeah, if someone wants to try jackfruit flour, what should they look for when they're shopping?
Make sure to get a brand that's 100% green jackfruit flour. No extra stuff added in like fillers or sweeteners.
Got it. And where can you usually find it?
You can often find it online or, sometimes in those specialty grocery stores.
Okay. And once you've got it, how do you store it to keep it fresh?
Keep it in a container that's airtight in a cool, dry spot. You don't want it to get damp.
Good tips. Okay, so we've talked about the flour. What about the actual ripe jackfruit? What's it like?
Oh, ripe jackfruit is delicious. It's sweet and kind of tangy, almost like a mix of pineapple, banana, and mango.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, you can eat it fresh, add it to smoothies, or, even use it in desserts.
Okay, so switching gears a bit, going back to fatty liver. Besides the jackfruit flour, are there other things people can do to help their liver?
Well, managing your weight is really important for liver health.
Uh-huh.
Even losing a little bit of weight can make a difference in the amount of fat that builds up in the liver.
So even if you're not like really overweight, losing a few pounds can still help your liver.
Exactly. And it's especially important to try to reduce what we call visceral fat.
Visceral fat.
Yeah, that's the fat that's deep inside or around your organs.
Oh, like the belly fat.
Yes, exactly. Studies show that if you can reduce that visceral fat even a little, it can really improve your liver health.
So weight management, especially targeting that belly fat, is key. What else can we do?
Regular exercise is also really important. Try to get at least 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of something more intense.
So it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just regular movement.
Right. Brisk walking, swimming, dancing, anything that gets your heart rate up.
What about food? Besides the jackfruit flower, are there other things we should be eating to help our livers?
The most important thing is to focus on whole, unprocessed foods.
Oh.
Lots of fruits and veggies, lean protein, and healthy fats. Try to cut back on processed foods, sugary drinks, and those unhealthy fats like saturated and trans fats.
That sounds like good advice for overall health, not just for your liver. Are there any specific foods that are especially good for the liver?
You know, research shows that coffee, even decaf coffee, can actually lower your risk of fatty liver disease.
Well, that's good news for coffee drinkers.
Yeah. And green tea is also great.
Oh, I love green tea.
It's full of antioxidants,
Huh.
especially those catechins, which are really good at protecting the liver.
What else?
Foods with omega-3 fatty acids like fatty fish, things like salmon, mackerel, sardines.
Omega-3s. They're good for everything, it seems like.
They are. And don't forget about nuts. They're packed with healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants, which are all good for your liver.
This is giving me some great ideas for healthy snacks. Before we move on, I do want to remind everyone that while these foods can definitely help, it's important to work on fixing the underlying issues that might be causing the fatty liver in the first place.
Right? Like insulin resistance or inflammation. Those need to be addressed too.
Exactly. It's about taking a whole body approach to liver health.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we really focus on here at LifeWellMD.com.
If you're in Florida and you're looking for help with incorporating jackfruit flower, improving your liver health, or just improving your overall wellness, we're here for you.
Dr. Kumar and his team are experts in functional medicine. They can help you create a personalized plan to reach your health goals. You can schedule a consultation by calling 561-210-9999.
We want to work with you to help you feel your best.
Now, let's take a minute to digest everything we've talked about so far. And when we come back, we'll wrap up with some final thoughts on jackfruit and all of its amazing potential. And we are back. We've covered a lot about jackfruit. What a fascinating fruit.
Yeah, we really went deep on this one.
So for you, what are the biggest takeaways from all this?
You know, the fact that jackfruit can actually slow down that glycation process, that's really amazing to me. It could be huge for people with diabetes, helping them avoid those serious complications.
And it's not just about stopping the glycation. All those antioxidants in jackfruit, fighting off that oxidative stress, that's a big deal too.
Absolutely. And remember that study with the green jackfruit flower?
Yeah.
Seeing how people with type 2 diabetes could improve their blood sugar just by making that one swap in their diet, that's really exciting.
It really shows you that we can make changes, even small ones.
Yeah.
And they can actually make a difference in our health.
Exactly. It's about finding those little things that work for you and incorporating them into your life.
And we've learned that jackfruit's not just good for blood sugar. It could actually be helpful for fatty liver too.
Right, because it helps with oxidative stress and with managing your weight.
It's like jackfruit is a multi-talented fruit.
Mhm.
And I have a feeling we're only just beginning to understand all the good stuff it can do.
I agree. It makes you realize how much we can still learn from nature.
This deep dive has been truly eye-opening. I hope everyone listening feels inspired to give jackfruit a try.
Absolutely. And remember, if you're in Florida and you need guidance on incorporating jackfruit flower into your diet, or if you have any questions about liver health or your overall wellness, don't hesitate to reach out to us at LifeWellMD.com.
Dr. Kumar and his team are experts in functional medicine, and they're dedicated to creating personalized plans to help you achieve optimal health. You can schedule a consultation by calling 561-210-9999.
We're here to support you every step of the way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of jackfruit. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Vitality Unleashed, the Functional Medicine Podcast. For more resources and personalized care to transform your health, visit us at LifeWellMD.com. Let's help you unleash your vitality, one step at a time.